draw with my heart rather than measurements, because why not? Always got to start off with the rough sketch. Hello everyone. It has been a hot minute since we've spoken last, or I guess I have, but in all honesty, your girl has been super busy lately. I have just moved, if you haven't been keeping watch on my channel, but finally we're all settled in. I'm feeling inspired and comfortable, so we're back to it, and hopefully back to it with more regular drawings. I'm so sorry it's taken me forever to get something out to you, but I promise I have one in the works right after this video. Hopefully it'll be posted right away as well. But if you haven't been keeping up to date with my channel, you wouldn't know that I've actually been going live lately, and I've done 2 different live stream videos here on YouTube. It's been an absolute blast, and I highly recommend that you join us next time. I'll definitely announce when I go live next, but they're a hoot, and there's a chance for you to actually ask some questions and get real-time answers for them. So turn on that notification bell at the bottom of the page, and you'll be notified whenever I go on next. But for now, you just get to hear me yap during this coloring process video. This one is really weird and a lot of fun, but it's the only thing I could find that was really interesting to me for the letter K. Because also, if you've been following along, you would know that I'm trying to draw a picture for every letter of the alphabet. So here we are with K. Ketchup is my main focus here. And once we get to the end, you will see that I have a key actually made by the ketchup. So once again, I really like to make more of the elements also start with the letter K, or whatever letter I'm working on. Key obviously starts with K, and I was like, well, we gotta make this ketchup is the key to my heart, because you're either a lover of ketchup or a hater of ketchup. But I couldn't stop there, so I also did add the mustard because they're a typical duo. I personally don't like mustard. Maybe I do. I haven't really given it a good honest try, but ketchup I'm definitely a lover of, and so I figured may as well make it colorful with a little bit yellow and orange. Typically in a lot of my drawing videos, I really like to use contrasting colors, hence the reason for the purple outlining at the end as well as the purple background. One other thing I'm really trying to do is add some background lately, because my pictures just need some sort of pizzazz to them, and I think I've been feeling that way because I never draw backgrounds. But I really want to start challenging myself by adding them in now in any way I possibly can. So hopefully from now on you'll be able to see more and more backgrounds be added and watch a little bit of the Chelsea artistic character development, if that's the right way to describe it. Backgrounds have never been a strong point in my whole entire career or time drawing. I don't know why. Maybe I just always thought of it as a waste of time, but in all reality, it's really not a waste of time. And anytime I've actually done a drawing or a tattoo that includes background, I end up really liking it. Even if it's just like a little splash of color or anything along those lines, something very distant and not so detailed, it really just brings an entire piece to life. So I really need to try and push myself to really focus a bit more and put more attention into a background. Another technique that I recently adopted and would love to point out to you guys is the use of a contrasting color from your base coat. So in this case with the mustard bottle, I've gone in with this purple pencil crayon and used it to give me the shadows that this yellow really needed. I know the go-to would probably be to use an orange or a brown in this case, but I find that the purple gave it this really nice mustardy tone, which is obviously the best option for this piece. So yeah, Try next time when you're drawing to use these contrasting colors and really see how it darkens up the piece in such a perfect way. In the ice cream piece that I drew recently, I actually used a pink over top of the mint green color, and that really just gave it the contrast it really needed to, you know, represent the shadows and put it all together in the end. Personally, I can find yellow to be a really challenging color to work with and illustrate with, but the purple really helps me add those little details and give it that contrast or depth that it really needs. And I find it also cools down the piece a lot, whereas if you used orange or red, it would keep it really warm. So depending on the look that you're going for, either choice is great, but if you're looking for the cooler option, go with purple. If you're looking for the warmer tone, go with red or orange. And actually, if I am tattooing and the piece has some gold elements to it, I definitely put purple ink in with my yellow, and that was such a mind-blowing trick I learned. It totally changed my perspectives on golds and how I make them for the tattooing, and it works perfectly for drawing too. So try it out if you're a tattoo artist as well, and let me know what you think. One more question I do have for you guys is if you would prefer the close-up shots like I'm doing now, or would you rather see a more wide-angle shot to show more of the piece? I generally try to do the close-up shots because to me they're more satisfying, because you know, you can see all the little grainy marks that I make, and maybe they don't look like a whole lot now, but when you get to see that final shot, all those little marks go such a long ways and they really bring the piece into perspective. In my next video, I did actually try to use more of a wide angle shot, at least in the beginning, and I really don't know how I feel about it. So this is definitely something I need your guys' opinion on, because your opinions matter in this case, since you gotta watch the video. I really want to know what you guys like and how, you know, videography works. I just really don't know what I'm doing, if I'm going to be completely honest. I just go with what I like. And no, because at the end of the day, I don't know much about what I'm doing. So I just roll with it and hope for a good outcome. I'm really not good at technology. I call myself a grandma most of the time because I do not understand more than half of the technology I'm dealing with these days. So please bear with me and give me as much advice as you possibly can. So here we are with the background, and I just gave it some light purple smoky vibe. I didn't really know what to do, if I'm going to be honest. There's not really a whole lot of options, so I just went with this because the purple looks really good against these colors of the main element. So yeah, that's my first attempt at some background. I hope it's not too weird to have, but just gave it a little extra pizzazz. I'm curious to know what you guys would have put in the background, so comment down below what you would have done instead. A few days ago I came on here and asked you guys if you have any sort of questions to ask me that I maybe haven't gone over in any of my videos, and I did get one really good question, and what they asked was about my choices of color and placement for all the line work that I add in the end. But I don't really have a rhyme or reason for the placement of it, maybe besides not adding any line work at the lightest point of the coloring drawing, if that makes sense. So wherever there's a lot of light, or wherever it's closest to the light source, I won't actually put any sort of line work there. I don't really know why. I guess that's just kind of the style I adopted or how I interpret it. But another thing I like to do is make sure I can separate any lighter colors from the lighter background, which is the paper. And as for the color, I really like to find something that is either contrasting and or complementary to the piece. So for this one, it is contrasting to have the yellow and the purple, but to have the red and the purple, it is complementary because they're so close on the color wheel together, whereas the yellow and purple are on opposite sides of the color wheel to each other, or not complete opposites, but somewhat opposite sides of the wheel. It really just brings the color palette together for this piece. And then for anything that I want to stick out more or be a little bit bolder or might be closer in perspective to the viewer, I'll generally put a black outline around it because that does make it stand out that little bit more. Whereas the purple one in this piece still separates it from the background, which is the paper, and just outlines it, gives it a little more shape, but very subtly. It is very common within my style to use very bold outlines, but honestly, your girl just wanted to try something new. Anywho, we are finally done. Let me know what you think down below, and I will see you guys next time. And I know for sure you will all really, really enjoy this next piece. See you later!